Toda Rabba Yahweh, for the Yom de HaShabbat Yahweh. Toda Rabba Yahweh, Hallelujah. Toda Rabba Yahweh.
Thank you.
All things, Yahweh. Thank you for the food and the clothing and the shelter. Thank you for watching over us, Yahweh. Open our eyes today, Yahweh. Let us see the words that you want us to see and understand them. Open up our hearts, Yahweh. Hallelujah, our emotion. Hallelujah. Go into those places, Yahweh, that we don't let other people in. Speak to us today. Hallelujah. 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 Praise be to the mighty Yahweh.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. All right. So, yeah, these are some great questions. And I will be answering those questions because I had a sister reach out to me today who was asking me like, well, if, you know, the valley of dry bones, you know, what is that about? You said that there's no resurrection. You know, we've been taught that there's resurrection from the dead, that people are going to get up out of the grave, out of the dirt, out of a ground that have a decomposed body. And all of a sudden they're miraculously going to come about. And then they're going to have, you know, flesh is going to come on them. Their tendons are going to all of a sudden appear out of nowhere. It's going to be magical. It's going to be a great thing. And the fact of the matter is that we're all, like David said, King David said, that I'm just a traveler. I'm just traveling through this time right now. I'm just a traveler here. I'm a stranger on the earth. That's all I am. You know, we're like a tomato plant. You know, my Isha, she planted a tomato plant and she planted, and all of a sudden we didn't see any fruit, and all of a sudden, booyah, all this fruit came out. And then I got it, I was thinking, okay, that's it. You know, all the fruit is grown, now it's over. Next week, booyah, more out of the same plant. And guess what? It's been going on and on and on and on because it's in its season. Okay. The plant hasn't changed. All the seeds that coming out of that, you know, when we planted one seed, one, and look what happened, a multiplicity. That's blessing. That's what y'all's talking about. You know, we have a wrong idea about what blessings are. We don't even really understand it. To be honest with you, we've been taught by these people, these church people, y'all will forgive them because those are our ancestors, okay, and their families, and they've been taught, and their oppressors taught them what they wanted them to know about their God. And their God is not Yahweh. And I keep saying it. You know, we think, oh, well, that's my parents have the same God that I have. I just call them by a different name. They're still the same God. No, they're not. Our Elohim's name is Yod-Heh-Wah-Heh. Okay. This Torah portion this week, he told us why Yivkar, wherever Yahweh chooses to Wasam, the Sham, his Shemo, wherever I want to place my name, not the name of any other gods. I've asked you to go in and destroy every indication or any place, any altar, any pillar, any statue, any kind of thing that reminded you of somebody else. Go in and tear it down and destroy it so I can place my name there. Hallelujah. Okay, I'm going to get rid of these people. I'm going to get rid of the names of their gods. And we're going to learn today that Yah has said this over and over and over again. Moshe has warned the children of Israel. He's constantly warning them to Hishamer. Hishamer means to shamar, but they put that hey on the front. It means the causative. You need to cause yourself in a very strong and mighty way to remember what Yahweh has said. That's the problem. People are not listening to what the Creator has said. They don't care about what he said. That's the truth. That's the truth. That's what it's about. Yah has given us this Torah portion this week called Ra'eh. Okay. And Ra'eh, as we went over, is to see. I want you to see. I want you to open up your eyes. Hallelujah. I want you to open up your eyes. Okay. That's what I want you to do. What's the function of the eye? Somebody tell me.
Be a witness.
To be a witness, and you're going to open and close. Through your eye, you're going to take inventory of the things that you see, the things that you experience. You're going to take inventory. Okay? That's what you're going to do. So the eye and the right A has to do with seeing, but it also means to perceive. And I was studying this week. I was like, okay, so I looked at all the places that he talked about the eyes, and what they were supposed to do to the eyes. And like I've been teaching, like, hey, look for perception, look for experience, look for all this. And then this morning, Yah gives me the word pathak that you have right here in front of you, the P-A-T-H-A-C-H. It's called pathak. And pathak means to open, okay? It means to open. Open what? I need you to open your eyes. I want you to see something, okay? I've appeared to your ancestors on several occasions. I've appeared to Abraham in a vision in a dream. I've appeared to you guys on the Mount Sinai. I spoke to you out of the fire. I've appeared to the prophets through visions and dreams. I've appeared to Moshe and he saw my glory. You understand? I spoke to him face to face, meaning ear to ear. He heard me and I heard him. We had a conversation. We had a relationship. But I need you to focus. Seeing has to do with focus as well. Like we saw earlier this week, the eagle, he's very keen, okay? But A has to do with being a bird of prey. It means to be swift, to be decisive, to be, to be focused. You have to have your focus. You have to have a target, okay? So we're going to look at a couple of different things that have to do with A. But the main thing about it is you and I can't see if our eyes are not open. I don't have a slide for it, but in the book of Isaiah, Yah says, who's blind but my servant? My servant is blind. They can't see. He's even said that at one moment that even after Moshe had brought the children of Israel out and Yah had opened up the Red Sea for them, he fed them with manna, their clothes didn't wear out. He said, even to this day, you still can't see. So there's something that you and I are not getting, okay? That we're not understanding as a people. When I say you and I'm talking about as the nation, the children of Israel, okay? So we're having some difficulty, pethak, in opening our eyes and see. And this is the purpose of the Torah portion, to open up our eyes so you and I can see. We got to open up though, okay? Pethak has this idea of awareness, being fully aware of your surroundings, being fully aware about what's going on, okay? And so Moshe wanted to tell the children of Israel, the sons and the daughters, and all those who are joined with them, that listen, today, see was a command. It was an imperative. It was a first person, Moshe, talking to a second group, people, plural, as a command to see, a command. So this is not an option for us. This is not an option. This is a direct command mandated by immediate action, not delayed, immediate. I need you to be aware today, because this day that I'm talking to you, as the whole entire book of Devarim, is a one-day occurrence. I want you to know today that there is a blessing and there's a curse, okay? That's what's available on this day, okay, that he gave to them. I want to tell you about what those words mean. You know what a barak is, or Baruch is, the blessing. And a majority of the Torah portion, we're looking for Deuteronomy 28 to tell us what our blessings are, verses 1 through 14 or 1 through 15. We're looking for the blessings over there that were pronounced in Leviticus chapter number 26, 1 through 14. Okay. But it's going deeper. It's going deeper. All the blessings that Yahweh has mentioned. Okay. Listen to me and listen to me carefully. The blessings that Yahweh has mentioned are the blessings all throughout chapter number 11, verse 26, all the way down to chapter number 16, verse number 17. Yah has told us that every time he mentions the blessing, It has to do with that which comes out of the land. That's what a blessing is. Okay? Because that's what you put your hand to. That's what Yah gives you the power to be in control of. That's what Yahweh has you to do your work. That has to do with the Shabbat. That has to do with chapter number 15 of the Shemitah. That has to do with if somebody's asking for some help in the needy and the fatherless and the widow and the Leviim. It has to do with the work of your hands. That's the blessing.
Good and glad you could get it.
You understand? That's the blessing. The blessing of the work of your hands by the power of Yah, given through the rain because of your obedience. So I got two words here for you today. One is qualala. Okay, that's the curse. And I got the other one, arar. Okay. The qualala is to be light in weight or stature. It means to be frivolous. It means to be literally worthless. Okay. This is what Moshe presented to them. He said, look, I'm telling you to see this today. I need you to see this qualala. I need you to see what would happen to you, where you will become nothing and you'll become worthless. I read earlier this week about some curses that were in chapter number 27. They were pronounced on the mountain of Aval. And on Aval, we found that that in particular place was a desecrated ruin. It was a desolation. So these two words are being used. So I asked y'all, well, what's the difference? He said one is to make you light in stature and to be worthless and have no value. And the other one is, I'm going to spit on you. The last curse that's mentioned in chapter number 27, the last verse says, cursed is anyone who doesn't yakum, the Torah, to observe and to do it. Let it be spit upon, just like this ground right here that doesn't bear anything that I told you to stand there and pronounce these curses. Spit upon the person that would lead the blind in a wrong direction. Spit upon a person that would not do what their father and mother said and dishonor them in any kind of way. Spit upon a person that would lay with their father's wife. I'm going to spit on you because you're worthless to me and you mean nothing. Yah talks to us about makom, a place. He says, there's a place that I want you to meet me. I have a special place. I don't want you to choose a place where you want to choose, but I need you to recognize this. I need you to have some type of realization about what I'm putting before you today. I need you to understand that my kukim and my mishpatim are to be observed and they are to be obeyed in the land that Yahweh your Elohim of your ancestors has given to you to possess as long as you live on the earth. This is something that our people can't seem to wrap their mind around, is that Yah says that as long as you live on the face of the earth, you are to do my kukim and my mishpatim. You are to obey what I said. Well, it says here that you can only be in the land. No, you are a people that is set apart for Yahweh. Doesn't matter where you live. You are still Yisrael. It doesn't matter where you and I have been scattered. Yahweh is still on the throne. There's opinions. There's a lot of opinions. Some of the opinions that we have today are so far gone that you and I can't even believe it. People are doing what they want to do. They have their own opinion about what they see from their perspective, what's right and what's wrong, not from what Yahweh sees as what's right and wrong. This is going on today, just like it was going on for them. He told them, you will not do things the way that we do them here today, where everyone does whatever in his own opinion seems yashar, right in his own mind. We've established our own righteousness, and yet it's still because we have our own opinions. And it's based upon our experiences. It's based upon who our parents were. It's based upon where you lived. It's based upon who your friends were. It's based upon your education. We're divided people. But he says, because you haven't arrived at the rest and inheritance which Yahweh your Elohim is giving you, this is applicable to you and I today. You and I have not come into our rest. We have not arrived at the place that Yahweh is intent on giving to us, the land that belongs to our ancestors. But he's putting us on notice today. You know, we get in a lot of arguments as a people because we don't agree. We get in a lot of disagreements in our home life because we don't agree. We have a lot of confusion. We have a lot of division. We have a lot of separation. We have a lot of, resistance and reluctancy because we can't trust each other, because we don't believe that we have each other's best intention at heart. So everyone has their reservations about each other, whether that's in marriage, whether that's at the job, whether that's an employer, whether whatever, family, we're holding on. And Yah says, you're doing what you want to do today. But I want you to know today, Yisrael, de lo lamad. Lo lamad. Lo means ever, 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 ever. You will not learn. Okay. That's what he's saying. You will never learn. Learn what? What are you going to not learn? He says, for this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel, including all 12 tribes. After those days, says Yahweh, I will put my Torah within them and write it on their hearts, which is your mind. And I will be their Elohim, and they will be my people. No longer will any of them teach. That's that lo lamad, his fellow community member or his brother, saying what? No Yahweh, yada Yahweh. They ain't gonna say that no more. Why? For all will yada need. They will all know me, from the least of them to the greatest, because I will forgive their wickedness and remember their sins no more. Wickednesses. Okay. You need to take notice to that. So what are we supposed to understand about this? What is Yah trying to show us? What are we supposed to open about this? We need to be open, not to the opinion of ourselves. We need to be open to what Yahweh has said and take notice to the words and the promise which he said. If you and I know that what he told Yirmiyahu right here in chapter 31, that Yah is not lying, okay, and it's the only opinion that matters, then why are you and I arguing about Moedims? Why are we getting into contention about things that really don't matter? Because you and I really don't know. We really don't know. We're just scratching the surface right now. And you ask yourself, well, why? Why is Yah having me scratch the surface? If I don't know, why am I doing this? I'm doing this because Yahweh is testing us to find out whether or not you're willing to learn and you're willing to fear him. And it's a choice. It's a bakar. You understand? So Yah is sending us in this direction to let us know, you guys need to stop it. You need to stop on this arguing, this fighting. It doesn't make us more closer to one another when we're divided. We can have our opinions and we can have our reasoning. We can learn different things. Some of us know more than others. Some don't know a little bit more than other people do, but it doesn't mean that any of us are better than one another. I'm no better than anybody on this channel right now, even listening live. But what's happened is you have people who are setting up their establishment of the way that they see it, and they're going to press people that way. The only thing that you will ever hear to come out of my mouth, and I'm going to push, and I'm going to push it to the day I die, is the fact that the only words that matter is Yahweh's words. If you never agree with me, you disagree with me on what you believe something is, or you may disagree. Well, you said you think that we were there before. I don't believe that. That's fine. My opinion doesn't matter. What matters is what Yahweh said. That's what matters. So Yah has chosen a makom. He has bakar a makom, a place. This is very, very important for us to understand. If you notice in chapter number 12, and even through 13 and 14 and 15, he continues on this theme about a makom. A makom is a place. That's what a makom means. It means a place. Then you will bring all that I'm ordering you to the place, the makom Yahweh your Elohim, Bakar, he chooses to have his name live. I want your burnt offerings. I want your sacrifices. I want your tithes. I want your offering from your hand. That's what I want. And all your best possessions that you dedicate to Ruma, to Yahweh. There's a group of people out here right now that are telling people that Yah is not interested in burnt offerings, sacrifices, or tithes or anything. He's not interested in that right now. That's not true. That's not true at all. That's their opinion. Yah says, I'm going to put my name in a place, and I put my name in this place because that's where I want you to come and bring everything that I gave to your ancestor. I promised to give to your ancestors to you, and I want you to use your hands to pull it up out of the ground and bring it to me. And praise me for that which I've given you out of the land. The blessing that I gave you, that's all through there. So he's expressed the blessing through the whole entire Torah portion about the land. These are the blessings that Yah was talking about right here. The burnt offerings and the sacrifices and the tithes, those are the blessings. They're not ritual, religious things that we did so we can please a God that's demanding these things. He's asked for them. They're called voluntary contributions on the fact that they're coming from the land and based on your hand, and I have a purpose behind it because I want to feed not the Kohanim only, not the Leviim only. I want to feed the widow. I want to feed the fatherless. I want to feed the stranger. I want to feed them, and I want to clothe them, and I want them to know that I am their Elohim, and I look out for them when nobody else is looking out for them. When I talk about makom in a place, it's also talking about raising a decree. It's to make something stand. So when Yah says the Wayivkar, the place that I chose, I'm letting you know I'm setting it as a decree. It's something that should be observed. But I don't want you to do what other people have done in the past. I need you to be careful not to offer these offerings, these burnt offerings, just anywhere you see with your eyes. Okay? I need you to observe where I told you. I need you to go to the Makom, which I had set my name in whatever tribe I said. There is where you are to offer these burnt offerings, these olah to me, these ascensions. Why? Because they remind me of what I have done for you. And it's also not for me, but it's also for you to learn. In the Torah portion, it talked about, Yahweh said, I need you to bring me your tithes and your offerings and your burnt offerings so you can learn to fear me. Learn to fear me like what? Obey my words. You need to do everything I asked you to do. And I have used the land as your training ground. You think I brought you to a land just so you can eat? I'm using the land to teach you. I'm using the land to have you understand about how I work. I'm teaching you about my character. I'm trying to show you what I expect from you. If you're going to be my people, I got to teach you. If you notice, David said in the Psalms, Yahweh, teach me. Madani, teach me. We need to be taught, and we need to turn around and ask Yah to teach us. We're running around asking everybody else to teach us instead of asking our Creator to teach us. That's the bottom line. You see? So the land has more than just fruits and vegetables, folks. It has to do with him training them. I'm training you to fear me. I'm training you to be at a certain place at a certain time. In the Haftarah in Samuel, it talked about how David was expected to be at the New Moon Festival with Saul. And when he wasn't there, some questions got asked, well, where is he? Which tells us that there's certain times and certain places that you and I need to be at that specific time and place. which goes to what we're going to discuss today about the Moedim. If I told you to be at a location at a certain place at a certain time, if you fear me and you love me, you will be where I told you to be. If I told you that this day, on the seventh day, I want to meet with you, then you would be there. If I told you that Pesach is this time, then you would be there. If I say Matzah and I say Shavuot, I say Sukkot, I say the Day of Atonement. Whatever day I told you and you have an appointment with me, you need to be there. When I talk about worship at the place that Yah has said, there's a group of people. I'm going to bring it to you today. A lot of us might not like what I'm going to say. There's be some people who may be offended, but here's the bottom line. This is the truth. Awareness means the reality of that which exists. Open your eyes and understand that every place that's listed right here, the churches, the synagogues, the leased buildings, the storefronts, the homes, the recreation centers, and the parks are all filthy and defiled in places in which now man has determined and said that Yah has put his name on these places. If you notice, everything up here has an S on the end. Plurality, more than one. Churches, synagogues, leased buildings, storefronts, homes, parks, recreation centers. This is defilement, and it's filthy. And this is where they said that Yahweh's name is. Every place where, you go outside and you see hypodermic needles, you see feces on the side of a building, you see condoms that were used by some homeless person, you see trash, you see it all. You see? And that's the mind game. That's the mind game. If people could get you to believe, and you hear it all the time, his name is here, he's here, this is the name of his place. So they've minimized Yah in order to fulfill their filthy and defiled destiny of them believing that they're close with him. But again, it goes back to what he said. You're only doing what you seem and think is right in your own opinion. There's mind games going on. The mind game is that Yah lives in these places. And when you and I, if we don't open our eyes, you can ask yourself, does he live in the one over here that's nice and neat and has some beautiful stones with a nice little tower on the, a nice paint job? Or is he at this other place where it looks a little bit more dirty and, not as expensive? So they're poor. So he's for sure with them. Where's he with? Is he with the rich? Is he with the poor? Where is he? He's with neither one of these places. He doesn't live in filth. This is the reason why he says, at the place that I would choose to put my name. Yah has never placed his name in this filthy nation. You understand? And that's hard for us because these are the places that you and I have found comfort. But guess what? The God that's in those places is not Yahweh. The God that's in these places is called Theos. That's the God that they serve. Our Elohim's name is not in any of these places. He's not there. That's the mind game. That's what causes you to be blind. The blindness is that there's a group of people, several groups, several Christians and Hebraians. I call them Hebraians because they're hybrids. They do and say the same identical thing as their Christian counterparts. I hope they're watching. I've been asking them for debates. No one gets back with me. They don't want to be torn down. They believe, as their teacher, the tent maker, Paul, has said to them. And I want all you New Testament people who's watching live to understand something. You're blind. And why are you blind? Because you believe what the tent maker said. Listen what he said. The tent maker said, don't you know that you people are God's, Theos' temple? And that God's spirit, his Holy Spirit, lives in you? So if anyone destroys God's temple, which is his residence, God will destroy him. For God's temple is holy, and you yourselves are that temple. Really? You and I, are you kidding me? You and I are the temples of Yah? Oh, really? Because the tent maker said so. So I guess because he said it is, then that's what it is. This filthy body that you and I live in, that Yah says is unclean, that he says is tameh, it's not tahor, it hasn't been purified. You understand? It's not where Yahweh is residing. Yes. Hallelujah. Those are the mind games of worship. That's the problem for Makom. Let's get out of here. I want you to think about that. We're backing out. That's why it's taking long. The next one is called Sather. Or Sather, excuse me. Sather. Sather. And Sather means to be hidden. It's about secrets. In our Torah portion, this word was used several times. It talks about the secrets. We know in Devarim 29:29 that Yah says things which are hidden, they belong to our Elohim, Yahweh. But the things that have been revealed belong to us and our children forever. Now, a lot of times people stop right there and they don't continue to read. Yah said that so that we can observe all the words of this Torah. The only reason why anything would ever be revealed to us is to keep the Torah. So how does this work? What is he trying to get us to understand? What should be open? Okay. You and I have been open wide or wide open to other people's opinions. And again, I go back to the famous tent maker. I go back to the slash, Christian killer. I go back to the one who was blind. I go back to the one who hated family and said that you should not be like, you should be like him and not be like any other man with a family. You should leave your family. You shouldn't even desire to get married. You should not even desire to want to have a wife. You should be like him and follow God and be committed to that, because marriage is just too difficult. And instead of you being focused on those things of marriage and building a family and teaching people the Torah, you should remain alone like him. I don't know why I speak for myself, had ever wanted to be a Christian. Why couldn't I have seen this? Because I was blind. We've been open wide to deception. This deceiver, okay, which is Paul, okay, has said, on the contrary, we are communicating a secret wisdom from God, which has been hidden until now. But before history began, God had decreed would bring us glory. What God had decreed would bring us glory. That glory he's talking about is that person called Jesus, that now that the Christians and the Hebraicians are trying to put a Hebrew name on him to solidify or to justify or to, make us believe that this is from Yah. Not one of these world's leaders had understood it, because if they had this secret wisdom, they would have not executed the Lord from whom this glory flows, meaning Jesus. But as the Tanakh says, he's citing the Tanakh. And I need you to listen very carefully. I need you to open your eyes and look at what this man just said. He said, no eye has seen, nor ear has heard, no one's heart has imagined all the things that God, which is Theos, has prepared for those who love him. He said the Tanakh said that. Okay. And it sounds wonderful, doesn't it? Well, here's the truth. There's some contrast here. It's clear as night and day Yah never said that. Yah had said, Hebraic, open your eyes. No one has ever heard, no ear perceived, no eye seen any Elohim but you. Paul, the tent maker, said that the things that Yah has prepared for those who love him. Yah never said that. Yeshayahu, which deals with salvation, says that no one has ever heard or perceived, no eye has seen any Elohim but you. And this is in context with him mentioning this to the sons of Israel, because they are the only ones who've ever heard Yah speak out of the fire. They're the only ones who've ever seen Yahweh on the mountain, on the fire. They're the only ones that Yah has a relationship with. You work for him who waits for you. That waiting is for salvation. Because this is how Yahweh is going to appear. He's going to show up in fire. If you read that whole context, he's not talking about the things that he prepared for those who love him. He never mentions about what the things that he loved them, the things that he prepared. Yah has already prepared things for us. Our things have already been given to us. We lost what Yahweh gave to us. Hey, open up your eyes today and see this. Stop letting these people deceive you. There's other deceivers. It's not a matter of if, but it's when. When. In the Hebrew, when I read the text, in English, it said if a prophet or someone. If. It didn't say if in Hebrew. It says when. This is destined to happen. And you should know that it's destined to happen, because the text right here is going to explain that it's not an if. It's not an if Yahweh's going to do this. It's a when he's going to do it. If a prophet or someone who gets messages while dreaming and arises among you, and he gives you a sign or wonder for what? So you can see it with your eyes. And the sign and wonder comes about as he predicted when he said, let's follow other gods. Lalaketh. Let's go and walk after other Elohim, which you have not known, and let us serve them. You are not to Shema, lo Shema lishma, to this prophet or this dreamer, says Yahweh. For Yahweh, your Elohim, is testing you in order to find out. And they got their find out, but in the Hebrew, it doesn't say find out. It's not a matter of finding. Yah wants to know. He wants to know if it really exists inside of you. If you have the existence of a mind and a soul that would love Yahweh. A continual love, not a part-time love, not a temporary love, a love that's continuing by listening and obeying what he said. Yah is not if Yah was going to test you, it's when. Yah is going to challenge us and find out. And the way that he has done this is by sending these, you almost made me defile the Shabbat. These deceivers. These deceivers. The New Testament. You don't think Yahweh would allow somebody to come and tell you about another Elohim? You don't think he sent you here to find out whether or not you would serve these gods? He told you that I'm going to send you to a place that you're going to worship gods of wood and stone when you get there. So what is he really asking us? What does he really want us to open our eyes to see? I want to see whether or not you will abandon the gods that your ancestors worshiped. This whole Torah portion is about idolatry. It's about idolatry. That's what it's about. And it's about Yah testing us to find out whether or not there's in a heart or a body that would exist to love Yahweh on a regular basis. There's a closeness that he wants you to be aware of. It's not if, it's when. they got here if again. It's not. There's a reason why. There's this closeness that people try to have with you. It's not if your brother, the son of your mother, your son, your daughter, or your wife, or whom you love, or your friend who means as much to you as your own soul, says yourself, but it's your soul, it's your nafesh, God, secretly. Remember, you were on my study this week. It talked about all these sins that are, all these curses that are done secretly. See, it's about doing stuff that's hidden. This is what y'all want you to open your eyes so you can see how people try to get to you. Open your eyes about the New Testament. Stop being blind. Open your eyes. These people are secretly trying to entice you, which is to push you off of the way to go and serve other gods, which you haven't known. You don't know them, and neither does your ancestors. Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov never knew these gods. They didn't know Theos and Jesus. They know nothing about that plan of salvation, that new plan, that Greek plan. They only know about what Yah had told them about the berith of the haaretz, the land. They only know about the descendants as numerous as the stars. They only know that Yahweh will rule and be with his people. They only know that. They never mention no savior. Elohim, they tell us that will remember us. These people, when they talk about let's go, I want to deal with that for a moment. The let's go and let's go find the gods and serve them. It has to do with this word called lekah. A lamed and a kaf. And what that means in English is an L and an A and a K. And lak means to walk. But lak here has to do with a shepherd's staff, to lead and to learn. That's what a lamed in Hebrew means. It means to learn and to lead, and it's a shepherd's staff to guide. And the kaf is you. Let me lead you. So Yah is telling us, not only do you have a prophet or a dreamer, and he says it can come to pass. I don't care if it came to pass. I don't care if it came to pass. I don't care if it could be a magic show. You can raise somebody from the dead, and I don't care. You can turn water into wine, and I don't care. I could do a magic show in front of you and turn snakes into stones or whatever. I can turn, like I said, I could do whatever I need to do. I don't care. I will send somebody and allow them to do those signs and let it come to pass to test you. I will also let your brother, the one who's close to you, to say, hey, I found something new. They want to live differently. That's what this is about. Your family and the ones who have tried to tell you to come and follow them to their churches. And why have you left? It's because you decided to live differently. You decided to live the way that Yah had inscribed for us to live a long time ago. You have decided to live the way that our ancestors were instructed to live. You decided to follow what Yahweh had said. See, the whole idea behind idolatry is to cause you to live differently. It's cause you to think differently. It causes you to eat differently. It causes you to think differently. It causes you to love differently. You begin to pick up the habits of those gods and those people. Yah says, I don't care. Those gods can be around you. They could be neighboring countries around you, cities, neither near or far away, you anywhere in the world. I don't care. The gods that I'm telling you are the gods that are out around you. Your ancestors don't know anybody but me, because I'm the one who brought them out of Mitzrayim. I'm your Elohim. But I need you to testify. You need to testify to this. And you need to see what it is from my perspective. You are not to consent to what your brother, your mother, your sister, and anybody else had told you. You are not to listen to him. You must not pity him, spare him or her, and you may not cover them. You may not conceal them. You may not hide them. You may not treasure them and hide them like they're a piece of jewelry that you don't want anybody to take. On the contrary, I need you to rather, you must kill him or her or them. Your own hand must be the first one on him in putting him to death, and afterwards the hands of the whole of the people, the whole community. This is a command. You need to remain loyal to Yahweh. You understand? This says, I didn't have it up here, but you could go read it for yourself. He says, what Yahweh sees as being righteous and good in his sight. Yah asked us to look at the communities. I need you to look at a community. I need you to investigate, because you're going to hear some things. You're going to hear about some people. You're going to hear about some scoundrels. They're going to spring up among you, okay, in these other cities. And what they're going to do is they're going to try to get you to Laketh or Lakah. Let's go. That's the Lalaka, okay? Come, let's walk together. Let's have a different lifestyle, which you haven't known. You don't know these gods. You don't know their way. What I want you to do is I need you to investigate, okay? I need you to inquire. I need you to search diligently, my old, with everything you have. That means that I want you to visually go. I don't need you to go off of hearsay. I need you to look at it with your own eyes. And if this rumor is true, and if it is confirmed with the things that you've seen, and these things are being done, and these practices are being committed, and these idols and these worship and these pillars and all these things, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to go to that city, and I need you to kill everybody in it and everything in it. I need you to destroy every single thing in it. I don't have it up here. He says, take everything, the clothes, the possessions, the gold, the silver, the livestock, the kids, everybody, and put it in the middle of the street and set the whole entire city on fire, because that's what I see as being right from my perspective, in my eyes. These scoundrels, these type of people, they're around you, and they're going to try to get you to go on a different path. Scoundrels here is this word called worthlessness. Going back to what Yah had initially told us, the ukalala. But there's a word called the Belial. Some you may have heard the sons of Belial, the sons of Beliai, okay? The sons and the daughters. It's not just sons, it's daughters too. But more specifically, men. Listen to these men. Listen to these men, okay? A Belial is a wicked person. In our Torah portion this week, we found that Yah said that if your brother came to you and he needed something in the year of the Shemitah, okay, which we're going to talk about in a few, you are not to be stingy and have an evil eye. You see, Yah's dealing with our eyes. An evil eye. Where does that evil come through the eye? It comes through the idea of what you see and what you perceive. That's what he's talking about, your eye, what you perceive. A sense of stinginess is an evil eye. That's a Belial. In my study, I found out the Belial has to do with drunkenness. This is what the prophet Eli accused the one woman, Cana. He accused her of being drunk. Why are you being like this, woman? You're worthless, a Belial. That's what he said, a Belial. She said, I'm not a Belial. I'm just pouring out my heart to Yah. Also found in my study in Judges that there was a group of men who raped this man's concubine, raped her all night long. The whole entire city, they raped her, these men. They raped her so bad that at the end of the next morning, she was out in front of the house, arms stretched out. Her husband said, come on, let's go. Guess what? She was dead. The man took her, he cut her up into pieces and sent all 12 pieces of her body to the 12 tribes of Israel. And they inquired and said, what happened? He said, these men, these Belial from the tribe of Benjamin. He said, okay, all the tribes gathered together and said, whoever doesn't show up, we're going to kill you. If you don't show up to come and handle this crime that was committed in Israel, to get this wickedness out of Israel. Do you know that tribe of Benjamin They would not hand those Belial over to them people. They would not hand them over. And that's why they went to war. And Yah has almost destroyed the whole entire tribe of Benjamin because of these Belial men. These scoundrels, these rapists, they raped that woman to death. And it was a wickedness. And these people in this city defended them. Therefore, they almost lost the whole tribe over the Belial. These type of Belial people are Eli, the prophet, or the priest, his sons. They were having sex with women at the tabernacle. They're sexually charged. They're sexually motivated. They lack restraint, undisciplined lives, unfettered, no boundaries. They go do whatever they want to do. Yeah, I had purpose, so I'm going to kill them. These are the people that are Belial. These are the worthlessness. This is why Yah has said you need to stay on my way. Because if you don't stay on my way and you think being under boundaries and being on a way in a direction is a bad thing, you think having guidelines, you think that's a terrible thing for us? We want to throw Yahweh's what he said under the bus because you and I don't want to be disciplined. We don't want to show any restraint. Every time you turn around, you get mad and want to put your hands on somebody. You can't just be with a woman and have a conversation with her without wanting to rape her. Everybody you meet, you got to have sex with them. You got to run around with your clothes off like you some derelict on the street. These are Belial. You understand? Control yourselves. No drunkenness. If you notice all the curses that were mentioned, a majority of them, 75% of them, had to do with sexual immorality. But you and I can listen to music that has sexually charged. Is that what we do? And we think that God doesn't see it. You think he's not aware of this idea of drunkenness? He sees it all. And he's telling us that this type of behavior is worthlessness. And this is what happened to us as a people. Everything that you and I have done, Yah said, I'm going to bring it back upon you. I'm going to make you worthless. And look what happened to us. Look what happened to us. But look at the mercy and the compassion of Yah. He's brought us out of these things. And he's trying to get the rest of his people, his sons and daughters, to stop being like this because it's worthless. What did David say? He said, turn my eyes. Psalms 119, turn my eyes from looking at worthless things. Stop watching those shows that are worthless. Stop watching those videos that have no meaning to you, that can't help you and bring you a closer walk to Yah, the Creator. And I'm speaking to all of us, including myself. That is what Sather is. Those are the secrets in which Yahweh wants to deal with us that you and I are trying to hide. There is no benefit in secret unless it's in order to follow the Torah. The next word is called atah. Atah means you. It's you. We want to talk about you. Yah tells us that you and I are his children. And that you and I are not to gash ourselves or shave our hair above our foreheads in the mourning for the dead, because you are a people. You are an kadosh atah. You are kadosh for Yahweh, for Yahweh. Yahweh Elohim has chosen you, atah, to be his unique segula, his unique treasure out of all the peoples on the face of the earth. I don't want you to be like these people because you're my children. The cultures that surround the Hamites and the nations that were around the children of Israel and the people who were there were doing these types of things. They were gashing themselves, putting tattoos on their face and marks for the dead. Kind of reminds you of the voodoo. Kind of reminds you of the tattoos. Yah says, don't desecrate your body and don't put any marks on your forehead for the dead or nothing. And that's what he's talking about. Nothing even to resemble this. Nothing. These are the marks that they would put into their bodies. And Yah says, don't do that. So as you can clearly see, there is a group of people that have the same color skin that you and I do and very close to it that are not Hebrew Israelites. They're not. The Kamites have black skin just like we do. They're from the family of Cush. Kam means to be hot, means to be the dark one. The Ethiopians, they're from that family. All of them, they're from Cush, they're Cushites. You understand? They're from the family of Kam. This is a family of the Ananis. And this is what they were doing. And Yah says, I don't want you to do that. You're my people. You're set apart from me. Appearance means everything to me as your creator. It means everything to me. It's so much so that I don't even want you to eat anything that's disgusting. An abomination, anything of filth that I told you in the Torah portion in chapter 14. There's things that are hidden within the Torah that Yah wants to reveal, the secrets. So you and I will be able to fully understand the Torah, the instructions. There's a reason why I don't want you to eat certain things. And it's hidden, but I'm going to show you today just a few things. I'm going to tell you what's disgusting for you. I told you what I asked you to eat, which is the ox and the lamb and the goat and the deer and the gazelle and the fish that have scales and fins. And a matter of fact, one of the fish, or the fish that have scales, which is funny to me, is one of my favorite fishes called red snapper is one of my favorite, right? But this word for the Hebrew is called sanapir. Sounds like snapper. It's called sanapir. Sanapir sounds like snapper. Same thing. They have scales and they have fins. Scales meaning their armor, like an armor coat as protection. The fins meaning that they are when they swim, they're straight. They're not crooked. They're straight. They swim straight. And whatever direction they're going on, they're straight when they're going. They're not moving around and going in a crooked way like a snake. There's a lot of characteristics. Yes, these animals may appear to be beautiful and cuddly and nice and colorful, but there's something about them that I want you to know. I'm going to reveal it to you. And more specifically, when I read the Hebrew, I found it, and I was blown away. There's a species of a rabbit called a safan. And the safan means treasure. Okay, like we just found, you're my treasure. You're a safan, or a safan means to hide. Remember, he just told us don't hide anybody that commits any crimes against me. Don't hide them. Don't treasure them. Don't hide them. The reason why Yah doesn't want us to eat a rabbit, okay, or this type of rabbit, is because it likes to hide. That means that it holds secrets. Yeah. The reason why he doesn't want us to eat a boar or a swine is because where it lives. And also, too, it is very deceptive because it does have cloven hoofs, but it doesn't chew the cud, meaning that it doesn't ruminate. It doesn't take time to think. It doesn't ruminate on anything. It just eats whatever is put in front of it. It's that, that greedy. It's just it's that gross. You could put a dead rat in front of a pig and it'd eat it. It can't make any distinction between clean and unclean. It's for its own appetites, its own desire. It doesn't care just as long as it eats. It remains in filth all day long. It's the character of these animals that Yah is trying to talk to us about. It's so cold. It's not only that the animal is filthy, but it's his character that Yah doesn't want us to deal with. A boar that's in an enclosed environment, meaning he doesn't have no freedom to move anywhere, can't be led. It has to be contained. The filth, because it doesn't supposed to go around and contaminate. That's not what my intention is for you. I don't want the bearded vulture because the way it handles things, it deals in things, it deals with stuff, it divides things, it parts and it tears. Remember, Yah says, I don't want you to eat any animals that are torn. I don't want you to divide and tear things apart. These types of characteristics can be passed on to tearing things apart and tearing people apart, tearing communities apart, tearing apart what I said that should not be divided and torn up. I don't want you to eat the ostrich because it's a greedy bird. I don't like the character of this bird. It's greedy. It's all it's concerned with. It has no restrictions, just greed, 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 greed. I don't want the short-eared owl, Kamas, because Kamas means to be violent. I don't want that in my community. I don't need any violence among my people. As I read to you, one of the curses is cursed is anyone who perpetuates violence upon any of his brothers in the community. I don't like violence. I don't like wrongdoing. I don't like anger. I don't like that. It doesn't work well in the community. It doesn't work well in the household. It doesn't work well in any type of situation. What really got me was the stork, because the stork is called a kaseda. And the Hebrew word for mercy and compassion is called kased. Okay. And it means this, what it called to be pious and to be devoted. I don't want you to eat this, even though it has the name of kased, because what it does, it lacks kindness and it lacks devotion. The carrion vulture. Interesting. Its name is rakam. Rakam means mercy and compassion. You would think this is a great bird. It's mercy and compassion. But the only thing about it, it shows love and compassion to only its own. It doesn't care about no one else except for itself. These are the attributes and the character traits of these animals that if you eat them and you're partaking in them, you too can become what you eat. You eat filth, you're filth. That's what you need to see in Ra'eh. You need to see that I'm not about just you showing compassion to just only you. If that was the case, I would have never written in Deuteronomy 15 about the year of the Shemitah to release your brother and your sister. I would have never told you that if they work for you for 7 years, for 6 years, you release them in a 7 year. I would have never told you that if the hungry was to come to you and the fatherless and the widow, that you're supposed to give them food and the Lewi, because they don't have any inheritance among you. On the surface, it appears good. They look good. They look beneficial. But I don't want this to be nothing in my community with my people. I don't want nothing or no one who's filthy in a belly Yael. And that's a bird of prey, by the way. All birds are called Ra'eh because of their ability to see. You understand? That's hidden in the Torah. We ask Shah to open our eyes so we can see the wonderful things that are in the Torah. This is a wonderful thing for us to see and understand. How would you and I know this if we didn't read the Torah? We didn't study and we didn't take the time to meditate and ruminate like the animals he told us that we can eat. I thought that would be interesting. The Shemitah. The Shemitah was part of our Torah portion in chapter number 15. The Shemitah is a real cold piece. It's a time of what they would call release. Yah says at the end of every 7 years, you are to have a Shemitah. It's Yahweh's Shemitah. It's his time of release. He's released the children of Israel from their bondage. He's released them from hardship. He's released them from disease. He's released them from oppression. What we can learn from this, and we can open our eyes to see and understand, is that Yahweh himself is interested in releasing that which has been held captive. You and I have a hope. We have a hope. We have a time of release. There is a time to be released. If Yahweh has done it for his people in the past, and he remains the same, and he does not change, then surely Yahweh will give us a time of release. It's a time of liberation. What is the Creator trying to get us to see? That liberation and freedom is what he's interested in. Here's how the Shemitah is to be done. Every creditor is to give up what he has loaned to his fellow member of the community. He is not to force his neighbor or relative to repay it. That means he is not supposed to be pressing on them. Okay. He's not supposed to force them and berate them and always on them all the time. They have literally 7 years to repay their loan. 7 years. You got 7 years to repay it. And if you know that, you're not going to press your brother or any fellow member of the community. Because this time is Yahweh's time of release and remission that has been proclaimed. As the children of Israel and as the sons and the daughters of the mighty one of the heavens and the earth, you and I are giving instructions on how to treat our fellow community members, how you and I are supposed to deal with our brothers and our sisters, and how you and I are supposed to deal with our neighbors, and how we are supposed to deal with the stranger, and how we're supposed to deal with the fatherless and the widow, how you and I are supposed to deal with the Lawiim. This is what it's all about. Yahweh says that you may demand of a foreigner that they repay you your debt or the debt he owes you. But you are to release your claim, whatever is your hand that you said your hand belongs to your hand, you got to release it, whatever your brother owes you. Why? Because you and I were slaves. Yah hates oppression, but he uses it in order to bring about the changes that are necessary for the children of Israel. Everything that Yah has done for us in the past, the present, and the future has always been to show us his character. He chose us as a people in order to teach us on how to live a life and show the rest of the world of what it's supposed to look like. Our job is to take oppression, force, beating, squeezing, berating, hostility, all these things should be away from us. And we should teach others of who our Creator is. Our Elohim is compassionate. And he needs us to be open-minded. He's asking us to pay thought. When you talk about open your eyes, he's literally saying that what you see is what you're going to think. I need you to look at what I'm saying to you. I need you to open your mind, because that's what your eyeballs are connected to, is your brain. Open your mind. See the need. Often we feel like we can't because we don't have what we need in this place that we're in, and we're not in our land. Yah has done this intentionally to open our eyes, to show us so you and I can be open-minded. If I'm going to teach you how to do something, obviously I try to use the land to teach you, but you didn't learn from the land. So now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to teach you while you're in your exile as mercy and compassion to you. Okay. I'm not going to be like the stork to you. Okay. I'm not going to be like the vulture or the pig. What I'm going to be like to you is an Elohim that wants you to understand how I feel about my people. And if how I feel about them is how I feel about you, because you are my people. And I'm trying to teach you while you're in your exile the principles on what I'm looking for before I bring you back to your land. I need you to guard yourself against allowing your heart, your mind, to entertain this mean-spirited thought. See? Because of the 7th year. Well, we're not in the Shemitah. So what does this have to do with us? It's about being that Bele Yael, which is right here identified in English as being stingy. A person who is stingy and has an evil eye, okay, is the person who also too would commit that rape. It's the same person that has that sexual charge, that motivation. We like to put ourselves above the sons of Eli, Pinchas, and Hophni. Well, they deserve to die. I wouldn't have done that. Yes, you would. Yes, you would. There's a lot of stuff that you and I don't think that you and I would have done that we would have done. It is not of any effort on our part that brought us back to Yah. It's Yah reaching his hand out to us. That's going to make the difference in our lives. Being stingy towards your needy brother and not give him anything. Yah says that's a mean and that's an evil and that's a spirit. That's when they're talking about mean spirit, that's evil. Okay. And the way that Yahweh sees it, he sees it as evil. And the reason why he's on them about this is because they have the resources to give to their brother or the person who needs it. But because of who they are, and this Bele Yael type of mentality exists among them, that affects the whole entire community. He says, if this happens, right, for then he will cry out to Yahweh against you, and it will be your sin, and it'll be your kate. It will be your missing of your mark. You got to see the need. See it. Open your eyes. Be open-minded. Okay. I have people in my life that are online right now, here on this class, that look and see my needs. I never ask them for anything, and they're always giving to me. And I thank you. You know who you are. I thank you. I want all of us to adopt that same attitude. Get rid of that mean-spiritedness, that evil thought of saying, because you're acting as if the thing that you did receive, it wasn't given to you by the Creator. That's why he was telling them why they were in the land. Why are you guys acting the way you're acting? And before you got into this land, you didn't have anything. You absolutely had nothing. It was all by my hand. It was my compassion that brought you here. It was my love and my concern for you as a people. And it was my love towards your ancestors. I kept my word. And I want you to keep yours. Slavery is a big piece of this. Slavery is a big piece of the Shemitah. And the understanding that we can get from this is that Yah told us that I want you to remember. It's not if, it's when your kinsman, your Hebrew, your Ivret, or your Ivriya, which is a Hebrew woman, is sold to you. See? So our slavery was being sold to our own people. That was part of what was going on. So slavery to us is not a bad thing. It depends on who you're enslaved to. You see, slavery for us happened because a person would become poor. Something would happen. Maybe they made a bad decision on something, or maybe for some reason or another, they didn't have a prosperous year, and maybe something came up. Things happen all the time. But it said in the 7th year, you were to set him or her free. You got to set them free. That's the Shemitah. Shemitah is not just for loans of strangers and neighbors and stuff, but it's also talking about your brothers and your sisters. You set them free. You don't, and then when you let them go and you set them free, he says, don't send them away empty-handed. And in that Hebrew text is telling us that I need you, it has to do with a necklace. I said, well, what is a necklace? Why is it about a necklace? He's saying, just like when the children of Israel left out of Mitzrayim, I put a whole bunch of gold and silver around there. I draped them. I gave them an abundance of things. So when your brother and your sister would leave, I need you to put them with a supply of generosity from everything. I want you to give them generously from your flock. I want you to pack them down with your grain and your wine press, what you got. Give him as much as you can, because Yahweh your Elohim has blessed you with. So again, it talks about, today I said before you this blessing and this curse. That blessing right there is the things that he mentions right here. The grain, the Ganica, which is the Dagan, which is the wheat, the Tiroshika, your olive oil, your flocks. I want you to, because Yah has blessed you because of your hand. He's allowed the work of your hand. So because Yah has done that for you, don't withhold your hand. I need you to open your hand. I need you to pay thak. Pay thak means to open, not only open your eyes, but open your hands. If your eyes are open and you see the need, you can pay thak your yadim. You can open your hands. When your eyes are closed, you can't open your hands. Yah wants you to understand that your blessing comes from him, and that pertains to the land. But more than anything, I want you to recall that you were a slave in the land of Israel, and that Yahweh Elohim redeemed you. And I looked at this, I said, okay, redeemed. In the earlier text, it talked about redeeming you. And I said, well, why is it still in the participle? Why is it still continuing? Because Yahweh is letting us know that even though I brought the children of Israel out of the land of Israel, and they were in the desert, and after they were ready to go into the land, I was still redeeming them. And redeeming means that I'm taking you away from the ways that you just left. That's my redemption. My redemption is not a one-time deal. I'm always redeeming. I'm always trying to bring you out. I'm always trying to bring you back from idolatry. I'm always trying to feed you. I'm always trying to teach you. I'm always trying to give you more understanding. When I give you knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, it's never going to stop. My gift to you is to be with you and to love you and to show you what I want you to be. I want to spend time with you. I want you to be my people. And that is why I'm giving you this order today. Because there's no way possible for you to fully understand who I am if you're running around with a closed hand. Because I wasn't closed hand when I killed your enemies. I wasn't closed hand when I opened up the Red Sea for you. I wasn't closed hand when you asked me for food, I fed you. I wasn't closed hand when you asked me for water, I gave you water out of a rock. I gave that which is impossible. But I know that what I can do, I know that I've given you the power to do the very little thing that I asked you to do, because I've already empowered you with it. I'm not asking you to give something that you don't have. If you want to be more like Yah, you have to be able to be taught by him and learn about his character. That's what this is about. I want you to have my character. See the need, open your mind. Last release is the samak. 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 Samak means joy. Excuse me. Where's it go? Samak means joy. It means to rejoice. All throughout the Torah portion. I don't know if you remember it, but Yah has said, when you have your oxen and your sheep and your goats and your tithes and your offerings, I need you to bring them to Lafaneka. Bring them before me, or Lifnakaim, to the Hamakom, to the place and the gift card that I've chosen to place my name. I want you to bring those things there. And when you get there, I want you to celebrate. You are to rejoice, and this is a command in the presence of Yahweh, your Elohim. You, your sons and daughters, your male and female slaves, the Leviim living in your towns, and the foreigners, and the orphans, and the widows living among you, in the Makom, in the place where Yahweh Elohim will bakar, that he would chose to have his Shemka, to live and to exist there, to dwell. In that place, not in your filthy body, not in your sin-ridden, pork-eaten body, but in the place that I chose to put my name. Don't minimize me to fulfill your own little fantasy that you're righteous outside of me. I am the king of the universe. I've chosen a place, and I've chosen a people. Don't conflate those two. There's a place and there's a people. You understand? I need you to remember that you were a slave. Again, the same theme that I told you he's been saying, that you were a slave in this reign. Then you will keep keep and obey these laws. But you will not keep and obey these laws if you don't remember that you were a slave. You won't remember that you were a slave if you go against any of the commandments I said. You won't follow the Shemitah. You won't do your tithes that I told you to bring to me. I'm so loving and kind that I told you if the place, the makom in which I chose is too far for you, I told you that you can sell the stuff that you have because it's too much to carry with you. I told you to sell it and get the money, the kasef, and bring the kasef to the place that I said and buy whatever you want, whatever you desire. And I want you to buy it. And then whatever you ask for, you will get, and then you celebrate before me. Don't act like I'm an Elohim that's so rigid that I don't want you to have fun. I don't want you to rejoice. I want you to rejoice. I want you to understand that if you can see in this text right here, he said, you, your sons, your daughters. In other texts, he said, you and your household. And he goes, your benkai and your obitakai, your sons and your daughters, your male and female slaves. Have you noticed he just said you, singular? Well, where's the wife? Oh, that's right. The wife is included in you. And I want to be clear. And I'm going to say it, and I'm going to keep saying it over and over again until you and I finally get it. There is no you by yourself. It's only us. Us becomes the you that Yah's talking to right here. When he says that I want you, all you males, to come up to the place of 3 times a year, which he mentions in chapter number 16, which talks about here he's mentioning this rejoicing, is at the festivals, the moedims and the appointments, the place that I told you. You, your sons, your daughters, that's you. That means you and your wife. So sisters, stop taking it personal when he says all the males. You're included when you are married. You understand? And you have your husband. You're under his covering. You understand? And it also talks about the household. And in that case, in that place, widows were not left out. They were taken care of by their sons and their daughters, or the sons of the people that they would marry. It was a community. They looked out for each other. It's not what you and I believe it is today. It's okay for you to be taken care of by your son if you're a widow. It's okay for you to be taken care of by your daughter if you're a widow. That's what it is. I want to commend you, all of you, who are taking care of your parents, your mothers and your fathers, because they don't have any help anymore. You're demonstrating and displaying the work that Yah wants you to do. That's the kind of people we are. We're supposed to do those things, you see. But Yah wants us to semak in his presence, in the place that he chose. That's what this is about. It's about celebrating. I hope you can see this. I hope you can understand what Yah is saying. After all the work that you've done with your hands, and after all that I've given you during the year, I want you to take time out and I want you to celebrate with me. I've given you everything I've given to you, so this will be the end of everything. I want you to see your end from the beginning. And before I bring you back home to your land, I want you to understand that this is going to be your life. If you're faithful to me and you love me and you keep my words, my commands, and you show respect unto me, and you have fear for me and my kukim and my mishpatim and my shabbats, you will be able to sit at a table and you will be able to enjoy your family. And you'll be able to enjoy your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, if I deem to be so. You're an eternal people. You're my people. You're different from every other people on the face of this earth. And everybody who joins themselves with you will be able to have a place at this table as well, because they love me. They've taken hold of my Shabbat. They've taken hold of my covenant. They respect me and they respect my people. And they respect my laws and my statutes and my commandments. That's what this is about. That's what Hebraic Eyes is about. It's about opening our eyes and being able to see the wonderful things that Yahweh has given to us. Hallelujah. 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 That's our presentation for today. I know it wasn't as long but I believe it was very impactful. I believe it was full of a lot of good stuff, and I'm thankful. Any questions, any remarks? We got time. Azania.
Shabbat shalom. I always raise my hand. I always have something to say. Hallelujah. I was thinking about what you were saying. Truly impactful when you were going on about how idolatry changes everything. And I kind of wrote about that in an article I was working on called The Rise of Blackness. And it was about how idolatry has changed our perception of Blackness and how we really need to work on that, i.e. mostly talking about how where the prophets, those who have seen the Most High, have heard His